세계에서 가장 성공한 창업자 중 한 명인 일론 머스크의 성공적인 창업을 위한 5가지 비결입니다.
I think the first is, depending on how well you want to do, and particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? Well, when my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. And we showered at the YMCAE, and we had just one computer. So the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night. 7 days a week, all the time. Work hard like every waking hour. That's the thing I would say particularly if you're starting a company. And I mean, if you do simple math, say like, okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year as the other company.
I think too is you got to make sure that whatever you're doing is a great product or service. It has to be really great. And I go back to what I was saying earlier, where if you're a new company, I mean, unless it's like some new industry or new market that, if it's an untapped market, then you have more ability to, the standard is lower for your product or service. But if you're entering anything where there's an existing marketplace against large entrenched competitors, then your product or service needs to be much better than theirs. It can't be a little bit better, because then you put yourself in the shoes of the consumer and they say, why would you buy it as a consumer? You're always going to buy the trusted brand unless there's a big difference. So a lot of times entrepreneur will come up with something which is only slightly better. And it's not, it can't just be slightly better. It's got to be a lot better.
The other thing I'd say is that if you're creating a company or if you're joining a company, the most important thing is to attract great people. So either join a group that's amazing, that you really respect, or if you're building a company, you've got to gather great people. I mean, all a company is a group of people that have gathered together to create a product or service. And so depending upon how talented and hardworking that group is, and the degree to which they are focused cohesively in a good direction, that will determine the success of the company. So do everything you can to gather great people if you're creating a company. Then I'd say focus on signal over noise. A lot of companies get confused. They spend money on things that don't actually make the product better. So, for example, at Tesla, we've never spent any money on advertising. We put all of the money into R&D and manufacturing and design to try to make the car as good as possible. And I think that's the way to go. So for any given company, just keep thinking about, are these efforts that people are expending, are they resulting in a better product or service? And if they're not, stop those efforts. And then I think the final thing I would encourage you to do is, now is the time to take risk. You don't have, you don't have kids, but as you get older, your obligations increase. And once you have a family, you start taking risk not just for yourself, but for your family as well. It gets much harder to do things that might not work out. So now is the time to do that before you have those obligations. So I would encourage you to take risks now. Do something bold. You won't regret it.
이미 다 알고 있는 내용이라 식상하다 느끼실 수도 있을 것 같습니다. 그러나 이 말하는 분이 실제로 그것을 해낸 경우이기 때문에 설득력은 크다고 할 수 있습니다. 사실 일반적으로 첫 번째 룰 엄청나게 최고로 열심히 일하라고 하는 말씀은 실제로는 누구나 실행하는 건 쉽지가 않습니다. 특히 초심대로 최선을 다해서 일을 끈기 있게 해내는 것은 정말 어려운 일이죠. 일론 머스크 본인이 그 어려운 일을 해냈기 때문에, 그리고 죽기살기로 최고로 열심히 해내서 성공한 실제 모범 사례를 말씀하시는 것이기 때문에 가치가 큽니다. 저는 다섯 번째 룰 지금 당장 위험을 감수하라는 말씀도 크게 느껴집니다. 미루지 말고 겁내지 말고 지금 집중적으로 도전하라는 말씀인 거죠. 지금이 바로 위험을 감수할 때라고 말씀하시는 일론 머스크의 말에 힘과 용기를 내셔서 나중에 후회하지 않을 도전에 나서시기 바랍니다. 일론 머스크도 사람이어서 단점도 있고 실수도 하고 비난을 받기도 합니다. 그러나 창업을 한 선배 기업가로서 그는 우리 모두가 존경하고 따를 만한 최선을 다한 그런 분이기도 합니다. 지금 당장 뻔한 이야기로 느껴지신다면 다른 시간에 한번 다시 보시기 바랍니다. 신수 신인입니다.